Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Robinson again, and we're going to continue our studies. We're going on YouTube Live, and I'm still working out the kinks of that, and I think I have it solved. So hopefully next week we'll be live again from YouTube. So proportional relationships, writing equations are what we're going to talk about. So the short version of this, we're going to take a equation called y is equal to kx. That's the representation for a proportional relationship. Once we find the value of k, we'll be in business. K stands for the constant of proportionality, where y and x are parts of the coordinate uh, names. So you should remember that a straight line represents a linear relationship, so that's important to know. Here are some steps that you need to know when you are finding the constant of proportionality. That is equal to taking the independent variable x and dividing it into the dependent variable y. We usually write it like this: y over x, that equals k. K again stands for the constant of proportionality. Y is equal to kx. That is the equation form where we're going to take the constant of proportionality and multiply it by the x value. So that's important to know. That's how we will write our equation. It'll always be in that form: y is equal to kx. So find the constant of proportionality, k value first. Define your independent and dependent variables. Write an equation in the form of y is equal to kx. Please also remember that the k value, or constant of proportionality, is always going to be next to the x value, the x variable. So it's because it's being multiplied. It's a coefficient of the x variable. So here's a question for us. So let's try it. So we have x 1, 2, 3, 4, and y 4, 8, 12, 16. First thing we want to do is find the k value, or constant of proportionality. So I prepared a third column for us, and that'll be where we do our work to find the constant of proportionality. Remember, the formula is y divided by x. So we're going to take the y coordinate and divide it by the x coordinate. So we'll have 4 divided by 1. That is equal to 4. Let's go to the next point. Our y coordinate is 8, and we're going to divide that by the x coordinate, which is 2. So the constant of proportionality will be 8 divided by 2, also equals 4. All right, let's look at the constant of proportionality for the third point. We have y is equal to 12, x is equal to 3. If we divide that, guess what? 12 divided by 3 also equals 4. So far, our k value, our constant of proportionality, is 4. And I'm sure the next one, if we take the y value, which is 16, divide that by 4, we will also get 4 again. So our k value is 4 over 1, or 4. So that's interesting. Also, I want you to notice when the x value is 1, you already know what the y value is going to be, because that's your constant of proportionality. It's 4. So that's a good way to tell the constant of proportionality without doing all your division. Find the x value will be 1, and that y will be your constant of proportionality. So I'm going to replace this 4 with the k, so I have 4 is equal to y over x. And the reason why I want to do that, I want to show you how do we come up with that formula y equal kx. So I want to solve this for y. So what I'll do is the opposite of dividing by x, which is multiply by x. I'll do that to both sides. Multiply 4 times x and multiply y over x times x also. What that does, it cancels out the x values. And so since the x values are canceled out on the right side, I have y by itself equals to 4 times x. And 4 times x, by the way, is equal to 4x, and y is equal to just y on the right side. So I can reverse it and have my formula, y is equal to kx, where in this case, y equals to 4x. So the 4, by the way, was the constant of proportionality, and if you remember, it's being multiplied by the y. So your job is to find the constant of proportionality and put it next to the letter x. And that's it. Okay? So here's one for you. Write the equation for the following relationship. The relationship again being these two numbers. How are they related? Let's find a constant or a constant of proportionality. So let's open up this column. We'll put y over x. So we're going to divide our y columns by x columns and see what number we get. So I get 3 divided by 2. That is equal to 1.5. So 3 over 2, 1.5. Now I'm going to take 6, divide that by 4. 6 over 4. That's also equal to 1.5. All right, let me try 12 divided by 8. 12 divided by 8, that's also 1.5. And guess what the last one is going to be? If you said 18 over 12, which equals 1.5, you are correct. So that equals 1.5. So your K value equals to 1.5. Now what you're going to do with that K value, Dr. Rob? Well, I'm going to go to this equation, y equals K times X. And I'm going to take that 1.5 and I'm going to stick it right here in place of the letter K. That way I'll have my equation. And my equation, I'll reveal it now, is equal to y is equal to 1.5x. And there is the equation for this relationship of numbers or coordinates. So I hope you understood what we did. If you didn't, write down your questions, bring them in tomorrow. I'll be glad to answer them in class. So here's another question for you. The graph below shows the total distance in miles traveled by a towboat over time in hours. Write the equation. The average speed of the towboat is what this is called. And here on the y coordinate, total distance. So here's all the distance in miles. So it goes up from 0 miles up to 21 miles and even further. And down the x-axis, which is your independent variable, is the hours. So your independent variable is your x-axis. Your dependent variables is the y-axis. So the total distance depends on how many hours you're going to travel. So let's find the K value in a graph. We haven't done that in a long time. So let's do what Beyonce said in her video. We start first at the bottom down here. So I'm starting at the bottom down here. Now I'm going to go to the left like Beyonce said till I reach the number 1. And then I'm going to climb up till I get to the point on the line. So I go up, there's the point. Now I will continue my Beyonce song. She said go to the left, and I stop right there because there is my answer next to the line on the y-axis or constant of proportionality axis. So 5.25 will be my constant of proportionality. Now you're just about done, because now that you know what the constant of proportionality is, all you got to do is replace the letter K with your constant of proportionality. So let's see what again was the constant of proportionality. It was 5.25. So all I'm going to do is take that K out and put in 5.25. So I'll have my equation. Y is equal to 5.25 with the letter X being multiplied by that. And that's it for writing an equation. So we used the graph and we found our equation that time. All right. So here's one for you. See if you can write the equation for this relationship. And remember, I notice it's a relationship. How can I tell? Well, 3 things. 1, it has to have a straight line going through the 2 origin point 0, 0. And 3, it has to have a constant of proportionality. So find the constant of proportionality. Remember, how do you find it? You take the y coordinate divided by the x coordinate. So that'd be 10 divided by 4. See if that's equal to the y coordinate, 2.5. Divide that by 1. So it should come out to be the same answer. And then write your equation. Remember, it'll be the K value or constant of proportionality next to the letter X. So I hope you understand what's going on. So write down the questions and I'll be glad to answer them in class. Word problems, Dr. Rob? Yes. There are word problems. There's one I'd like to leave that I found on a good state test that I think you could use. So which equation would be used to find x? So I want you to identify the dependent variable y the independent variable x, write your equation, and then select which one. Well, Dr. Rob, this is a little bit more than you did. Good. So if you figure out which one is which, you should be able to figure out your equation and select which one. So this is a good state test question. So I hope the lesson was easy for you. If it wasn't, write down your questions, bring them in, and I'm going to say, Dr. Robinson, I'll see you next time. Remember, subscribe to my YouTube channel. My channel name is Dan Robinson, and give us a thumbs up. We'll keep coming live on YouTube, and hopefully we'll get better at that. So bear with us, and see you next time. This is Dr. Robinson signing off. Bye-bye.